It has to report to somebody. It can't report to God. First of all, nobody knew that Mr. Iswaran might or might not have been doing something wrong. CPIB found out. Nobody tipped them off. Nobody blew a whistle. Nobody raised a public scandal. No PQ in Parliament, not even from the Workers' Party. But CPIB found out. And they told me, and they decided to investigate the matter. And they proceeded. It reached a point where they needed to interview the minister. And then they came to tell me and say, can I have your concurrence? Because CPIB reports to somebody. It has to report to somebody. It can't report to God. So who does it report to? Now, that's a very interesting question. Once upon a time, we had an SAF officer who went overseas on a course. He went to a Commonwealth country. And the course mate asked him, how do you keep your system clean in Singapore of corruption? This is a country which grapples with this problem. He explained how we do it. You know, we have the CPIB, it was zealous, it has a fearsome reputation. You go and lim kopi, you know what will happen. And his course mate asked him, whom does the CPIB report to? So he thought this was an organizational question. So he said, well, you know, it's independent, it's got its own chain of command, it reports to the Prime Minister. And his colleague looked at him again and says, whom does the CPIB report to? Why did he ask that question? Because the question at the root of it is the age-old problem. Who is to judge the people who judge the people who judge the judges? Who is in charge? Somebody has to be in charge. And in Singapore, the Prime Minister is in charge. And if he is corrupt, you're sunk. But beyond that, we decided to put in an extra safeguard. And that is, if the Prime Minister directs the CPIB, you don't do that. CPIB can go to the President and say, Prime Minister has refused me consent, do you concur? And if the President says yes, then the Director CPIB can proceed. If the President agrees with the Prime Minister that the Director CPIB does not have a case or has gone rogue or is doing something ill-founded and says no, well, that's how two keys work. And therefore, the matter stops there. Is it guaranteed? No, because the Prime Minister may be corrupt, the President may be mistaken, but it's as best it is possible to contrive a system with human beings which will work, provided you put honest people in charge. That's how the system is supposed to work in Singapore.